Opening night of Halloween Horror Nights 2025 was everything. Chaotic, creative, and yeah, kind of crowded. From late night arrivals to jump scares, here's everything that went down. Let's get into it. Welcome to Villains of Horror, where horror attraction and horror movies collide. If you love spooky things, check out the channel. But we just got back from Halloween Horror Nights 2025 opening night, literally just last night, still wearing this shirt. I want to break down our experience with opening night this year. We did a couple things differently than what we've done before in the past. Some things that I liked, some things I didn't like, and just kind of what the whole vibe was. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. So normally what we do, if you're subscribers on the channel, you've seen for the past years, we normally go early. So if you have a pass to the park itself, you can technically go into the park and then get your wristband for Horror Nights early. You can just stay inside the park. Or if you get the early Scream and Stay, I want to say it's called, you can technically go in early and they let you get access to some of the mazes before it officially starts at 7. This year, we decided to just go in later. We just said, let's just go in at like 9 o'clock at night, just because we didn't have the early Stay and Scream and we were still working during the day, so we couldn't get there early enough. So we just said, let's just go there later. We won't stand in that big crowd where normally when you first go in, there's a giant crowd of everyone getting in at 7 o'clock. And honestly, this worked out great. Going into the parking lot, there was no one there. Going through City Walk, there was barely anyone there. Going through security super fast. And the good thing about that is as soon as we got in, we saw the signs. It said go right to the left. Monstruos and Fallout had short wait times. And that's one thing I do want to say. Earlier on in the season, the wait times, they're really not that bad. It's really once you get into late September and then in October, it's full on. You're going to be waiting a long time. But I do feel like the first couple nights, really, it's not too bad. The first night, it's going to be crowded because it's going to be like most of the people that are like the most excited for it, including us. We're going to be there opening night. But after that, it really does mellow out. And then it just ramps all the way up. But the first maze that we got in line for was Fallout. And I'm a big fan of Fallout. I don't know if you guys can even see behind me, but I have my little pit boy over there. I do have some other like Fallout stuff behind me, but I was really excited for this maze. And I did see some people were saying inside of Orlando, they were complaining that it felt kind of crowded in their maze. Our maze here, it's inside of the same place where The Walking Dead was. I think the one called like the Hotel Evil Dead was there. And last year it was A Quiet Place. So it's an interesting place where they put it. And I think it worked out well. I didn't film inside of that maze because I wanted to just go through it and just experience it firsthand. But I will say, I thought it was cool. Was it the most scariest maze in the world? No, but it did have some good jump scares, I would say. The ghouls looked just like zombies, and that reminded me of The Walking Dead. And the one thing I do want to mention, this maze is based upon the TV show and not necessarily more on the video game. So it's based upon the Amazon TV show. But I thought it looked cool though. They did have a mutated bear. That was a surprise. That bad boy was big. It was a fun maze. My only complaint is I didn't really see the ghoul too much, the main guy. Didn't really see him too much. I think I missed him when I was going through the maze because I think like after I turned around, I saw him come out of one of the caskets, but it's fine. We're going to be going multiple times this year, so I'm going to see him again. But if it was like my only time going through, I would have been a little bit disappointing. I didn't see him that much. But overall, it was a good maze to start us off with. The wait time wasn't too bad. I want to say it was like maybe like 20 minutes. It wasn't bad at all. And it has a little pre-show things up on the screens that we can like look at that were showing the Fallout, just like pre-show. So it was a cool maze. From there, we made our way down. We were trying to just scope out, see what the wait times were. We didn't do a quick walk through the scare zone, but we decided to go on Terror Tram. It was literally a walk on. I think it said a 5-minute wait, but it was mostly just a walk on. In years in the past, the Terror Tram, I would say, is probably like the lowest ranking thing there just because it's outside and it's less of a haunted house and more just kind of like an outdoor experience. And you kind of walk through the same experience year after year. But this year, Blumhouse, they did this one right. And you could tell when we were doing the studio tour, like multiple times before Horror Nights, you can see like they were building out more stuff. This year, I think they did it right. They had all of the greatest hits from Blumhouse. So they had Megan, Insidious, The Black Phone. I think it was, what's the other movie? It's not Freaky Friday, but whatever it's called, where the lady and the guy, they switch bodies and the lady's the killer. It was everything they pretty much had there, even Exorcist. So I think that was cool. They brought all the heavy hitters were out there, and it did feel more like a maze because the way that you walk through everything, they did kind of build walls. So it was actually pretty decent. Would I rank it as high as some of the other mazes? No, but I do think it was still a very fun, experience, especially because it was like a walk on. The only negative thing that I could see is that they did cut out the section where you walk through the Nope area, but I think honestly that's probably fine because all the stuff that they added to this maze, I think it makes up for it, especially because it would kind of throw everything off as like a Blumhouse, and then you would walk through the Nope section, because I feel like years in the past it's just been The Purge and things like that, where that's fine, but it was nice that this was shaken up and it was more actual like scares and like people just jumping out. So it was nice though, because they even had the section not just near the Bates Motel section, it was actually behind the plane crash area. There was also other, little booths that you walk through. So lots of scares there. It definitely improved the terror tram. So I'm really excited to do that again and just kind of like walk through it, multiple times. So from there, we decided to go make our way down to the lower lot. And it's a cool experience walking down to the lower lot. It's always a nice vibe, especially during horror nights. So the next one that we chose to do was WWE Horrors of Wyatt Sicks. I know we were excited for this one, mostly because we have a friend who really loves like Wyatt and everything about this. I remember he was showing us him like years ago, and when he passed, it was a big ordeal. Or even when we went to Midsummer Scream and we were in the room and they were talking about this maze and just how he was even talking about like eventually getting a maze, it made it feel a little bit more special to be like, okay, cool, now that he's gone, they're still passing on his legacy and doing something like in his honor. So we wanted to check that one out. The one thing I would say, that the line was a disaster. I don't know what they were doing. They have to fix that. The way that they say to go to line up is you go near, it's like behind the escalators. So it's like literally where the Jason maze is. It breaks you off into two sections, but you're supposed to go down there, then you loop around, and then they say from there, go near where the Jurassic Park section is. But there was no one guarding the line. Like, I'm like, people could be skipping, people could just be walking in line, because like literally we were like walking with people that were getting on the Jurassic Park like ride, and we were just like, where do we go? And I'm just like, they're gonna have to fix that for sure, because I can see that being a problem. People are going to be skipping, people are going to be just jumping in line and stuff like that, because no one was watching the line. I don't know if they thought it was going to be at capacity, but it definitely wasn't. Like, we could have just gone straight, we could have bypassed that whole first section, just gone right to the other section, because there's plenty of lineage on like the other half of the Jurassic Park ride, especially because most people aren't going to be riding that. It's at night and like it's cold, so, or I just say cold for Southern California, so people weren't really riding that, so they could really use literally all of that line if the line gets long. So I don't know what they're gonna have to do. They're gonna have to fix that. They had us line up and we went through so many different things, like none of this is connected. We're like literally yeah, this is loud. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to have to fix this.
WWE General Line is getting over here. Best in ADA on my left. WWE General Line over here.
I don't know, maybe they expected it to be at capacity, but they had us line up literally all the way on the other side. We just went through like a giant maze through people to just get over here. They could have bypassed a lot of this, but whatever. Opening night, I'm sure that they'll get it figured out. Oh, the other thing with that is they literally let the express go through for 15 to 20 minutes straight. And I get it. If you have express, they let you go first, but you're supposed to pause both lines through. Express goes through, express goes through. Okay, general, let's get some of this general line moving. Okay, express, let's go. They didn't do that. They literally just had like general just waited there, and express just kept going and kept going. People were just getting in line like constantly. There was waves after wave after wave of people that kept getting in line, and we were just sitting there. And this was the point where we made it pretty much to the front, and we can like literally see the person who was like in charge with the line. They were like just having the express go through. It got to the point where I think it was a supervisor or a key holder or something, because someone else came over and they let the general come through. So stuff like that, you know what happens. I remember that happened before, like I want to say either last year or not. Actually, I think it was probably last year during the Insidious maze, I want to say, where that happened, where like we were just sitting there for like 20 minutes. Like we made it all the way closer to the front where we can actually see the line, and they just were just waving on express through, just waving them on through for quite literally like 15 to 20 minutes. So I get it, but that's just my rant on that. But the maze itself, which I did do some filming in there, was cool. I liked it, especially for someone I'm not the biggest WWE fan. I mean, in recent years, I've gotten a little bit back into it, but I can still tell some of the beats and everything like that. It was cool. It was some pretty good scares out of that one. You know, people just jumping out. I liked how they had all the different characters. They had different references and things like that. And even at the end, they had a little plaque, I want to say, that was said like for Wyatt. So that was cool. And even in the beginning, I do remember at Midsummer Scream, they were talking about this, how on the front porch there is the rocking chair that's rocking with his lantern. It was a nice tribute to him. It was just a nice maze. I'm excited to go back with a friend who's going to be coming, I want to say in October, who's like a really, really big fan. So I know we're excited to go through that again with him, but we're going to be doing these mazes like multiple times. We have the freaking Fear Pass. We go back multiple times. You'll probably see more, videos on Horror Nights on the channel and all the other type of haunted attractions that are going to be inside Southern California and maybe even out of Southern California. So subscribe for more if you want some more information and see those type of videos. So let me know. And then from there, we decided to hit up Scarecrow because I believe Jason was really long and Five Nights at Freddy was also very long. So we were like, let's go to the Scarecrow. Let's see how that one is. That one is, you can see that maze if you do just a normal studio tour. That one's like out, it's kind of out by itself, but I do like that area. They had all the lineage was out, but thank God it wasn't that busy. I want to say it was like a 20-minute wait. It wasn't bad at all. But in years in the past, for those mazes like down there, you will see it's all the way lined up. On the way down to Scarecrow. So just to show you guys, this is the line. It says a 25-minute wait. That's not bad considering when we did the Wyatt Sicks one. I forgot how long I said that was, but with that whole debacle with letting it express through so much, we were waiting in there for like a really long time. It is 11:10 right now, but this isn't bad. We're like marching through. Later in the season, all of this will be taken up. So if you can come early, definitely come early. So Scarecrow, fun. This maze, you can tell they did reuse some scares, some things. Like there was like the Scarecrow up against the wall, then they come at you, stuff like that they've done before. I mean, they use some good old reliable tricks but tweak things. So similarly how like the Terror Tram, they use some things from like stuff in the past, like with Exorcist and Insidious and stuff like that, but they made a twist to it. I think this was a cool maze. I have some clips of this, so I'll show you some of the clips of that maze. Sorry. And yeah, it's funny. I think that was the maze that Angelia, my wife, had the biggest scare. I think she literally screamed in that one. It is funny. I do remember that. But fun maze, good time. Wasn't too bad overall. It's a good maze. One thing I do want to mention is that we were excited for, and that was seeing Art the Clown just roaming around. So one thing that we did notice, I believe there's multiple Arts. So there's definitely one on the upper lot, and we saw him kind of in the midsection of the park, wherever they usually do like Grinchmas and stuff like that, that big circle. He was kind of in there. In that section, we saw him roaming around a bit early. We saw him, and then on the lower lot, there's a bloody Art the Clown. So that was cool to see, because that's what I figured, just so that people would see him more and more, just have him in different places. Did they just coordinate like where you're going to be, so you don't see two of them at the same time? But that was cool, because I know my wife at one point in time this year, she wants to show Art the Clown the tattoo she has. It's a tattoo of Ghostface and like a blockbuster thing, but it was like a little Art the Clown on the very bottom. She wants to show him that just to see what his reaction will be. So we'll see how that goes if we get a chance to do that. But the last maze that we did for the night was Monstruos 3. And this year, they said that this is going to be the last year of Monstruos, which is good and bad. I would say they've done this multiple times, but I have a little bit complaints. Not anything super crazy, but just a small little bit complaints. Only because this maze, it's been in that spot before, so it was different, but it still felt familiar. They reused the big animatronics that they had before in the past with, I want to say I forgot the monster, but it's eating the kids. Like they're in the bedroom. They've done those before. They reused them, which I think is fine because those are like great set pieces. But if you've seen them before, you're like, okay, cool, I've seen these guys. If you've never seen them, they're still like breathtaking. So they reused those, and then like the one big animatronic that kind of like pops out, that guy they reused. La Llorona, they've used before. They've done that. She's in this maze, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Just we've seen it, but once again, I get it. Reusing a maze is not the entire maze. It's just like certain characters they're reusing, but at a point in time, it's like, how many characters can you have? You know what I mean? It's like, I get that. But they did have some new people. They did have some, I want to say they were like skeleton dog people. They had like these kind of masks on that looked like an actual like dog or some sort that were popping out. So that was cool. I did get some footage inside that maze. It was a cool maze itself. I'm excited to go through that again. I know last year, I think that was my wife's favorite maze, or last time it was there. She always enjoys that one. And then I do like how, even in the very start of it, the guy that's out there with the graveyard, he has a little cat. I thought that was just funny. And at the end of the maze, the cat is like with him too. Outside of the maze, the cat like head kind of moves back and forth. So it looks kind of, it doesn't look super real, but it looks real enough, especially at night. So that was cool. And then I like how it always just leads you out right into the giant scare zone. So that's cool. And then at this point in time, it was getting pretty late. So we decided, let's just head on out. We'll see the other mazes and the other stuff like that, the other shows another night. We're going to probably go maybe, I want to say later this weekend, but we are going to CreepyCon as well. So if you want to see any of those type of videos, make sure you're subscribed. They're going to be coming out, give you guys my honest opinion on that and everything like that. But yeah, as we were making our way out, we saw the chainsaw chase out. So it's pretty much where all the people like in the front of the park, they have their chainsaws to kind of chase people out, kind of. That's the whole vibe. It was cool to see Art the Clown was up in the, I want to say it's the RIP section or the VIP section, just like when it's not horror nights, like up in the like balcony. He was up there kind of like dancing to the music, and then they had all the chainsaw people were chasing people out. So it was a great experience for like the first night of horror nights. Really excited to be just back in the swing of things. All the other parks are going to be opening up soon. I'm excited to go check out everything else this year and hopefully do some new stuff that we haven't done before. Like I said, CreepyCon, this is going to be something different. This is a convention, so I'm trying to do some of these type of things too, but I'm like really excited for all of this type of stuff. But with that in mind, guys, if you haven't seen our video and I was talking about Midsummer Scream and all the announcements that happened, check this video out right here. Subscribe for more, and we'll see you in the next one.